Okay, you guys, my Kia Soul, the starter went bad on it. This is a replacement starter. Says CarQuest on there. This is a 2014 2.0. I did not take the starter out. My buddy took it out for me. He has 10 times more experience than I do. It's basically a 2-bolt design. The problem with this brand new one is it's not threaded on one side. On one side is threaded, the other side is not. So I went back to the store. I found a tap that's the right size, the right width, but it's the wrong pitch. Meaning the threads are tighter together, or this is American and this is metric. In the store, they sold me this for $6 and change, 15% off, and I tried to get it free, but it didn't quite work out. As long as I get it in, what's the big deal? Besides the 2 bolts, there's a cable to the power of the starter. There's at least 1 connector, 2, let me see how many connectors we got back here. So you got 1 connector and 1 cable, and there was a harness pulled out from another device that was in the way. I'm not sure what that was. I'm going to pause the video because I got to put some threads in there. Hopefully all this works out. And then I'm going to show you underneath the car. I'll try to splice the videos together and show you underneath the car what you're looking at, okay? So let me pause the video and start tapping this thing on one side. I'm not really afraid to tap this, even though this is brand new. Worst comes to shove, push comes to shove, I can put a longer bolt, a nut, and a lock washer on one side if I have to, if it's the right thickness and it's a decent grade. But I don't think I'm going to have that much trouble. This is aluminum, so that's why I'm not so much afraid of tapping this. Okay, you can see my mess. Trying to figure out what to do. Even though I'm mechanically inclined, the spot is kind of tight, and she's got a little bit of weight to her. Easily 10 pounds, no joke. And you have to fiddle with it to get it inside. And let me pause the video and I'll see if I can show you inside before I start putting it in, okay? Okay, this is the car. It's on ramps. I've seen a couple of videos where they take the air intake and stuff off, and me and my buddy saw the starter was kind of in the middle of the engine, definitely underneath, next to the oil filter. So I'm going to crawl underneath and show you that, okay? So just give me 1 second. Okay, I'm underneath the vehicle. I believe this is some type of airbox here, where it's pretty much take apart. There's my little oil filter. There's my tiny oil pan. Here's where the starter goes. Here's 1 bolt, and there's 1 bolt on top over there with my fingers pointing. I had to go kind of sideways to get it in there, or go front end first, and then once I got the front end inside that pocket, I was able to actually see the other hole there. There's the other hole. You can see both holes now. So it wasn't that hard to take apart. There's the harness that we took out. Where is it? That belongs somewhere else. This has got to get remounted on the side of the starter. And here's the cable for power to the starter. Okay, and then here's the little plug that goes in the back of the starter on top, where the solenoid is at. Okay, I guess the ignition on that one. So that's the ignition. This is the power cable. This harness goes somewhere else, and this piece had to come off. That's not too bad to get this out. One of the reasons why I really do like this little Kia Soul is because I was hoping to work on it. Be able to work on it just fine, and it looks like I'm okay here working on it. And there's the compressor for the AC, and I think I gave you guys enough for now until I can get the starter in. Okay, I apologize, I won't be able to hold the phone and do the starter, but once I get it in, line up the bolts and tap it, I should be fine. Okay, a more close-up view of the actual tap I'm using, so you get an idea of the pitch on this bolt right here. This one is different. This is SAE. Similar thickness, but definitely wrong pitch. Okay. Let me start. I'm going to use some WD-40. I'm going to try to get a couple threads in, back out, then go a little bit further. Once I get some gook in there, I'll take it out and then restart. Okay. Got to be careful. Definitely some nervousness. Tap does seem to straighten itself out. Have to apply pressure. The other tool didn't quite work. Didn't fit. The little hand one has like a T-handle on it, so apologize for the movement. Hopefully underneath you can see I'm already almost through. Didn't have to back up too much. The WD-40 definitely good. I think it's going to work out good. We'll test in a second. Okay, you can see some of the shavings down there. Okay. Hopefully you can see some of the shavings on the tool itself. Okay. I'm going to pass it all the way through instead of clean it and back it out. This way I hopefully have zero issues. Then we'll test it with a bolt. Okay, there is the bolt, the side that I tapped. Nice clean job. Pretty tight. No real, there's a little bit of play. Check the other one. Same amount of play, a little hair less play. About the same. Yeah, about the same. A hair more on this side. So I'll be careful. I think it's 50-pound torque. Have to check the spec on this. Gonna go online, make sure I don't overdo anything. Alright, let's get it installed. Okay, you guys, I apologize about the mess, but things a little tough, but I guess they'll be okay once we get everything together. This guy and this guy right here did not work out on the tap itself. This one right here. Okay. The 10 times 1.25, I guess. The 1.25 is the pitch. And then 10 millimeter, I guess, which is actually this bolt right here. Okay, I'm using a 13 millimeter for the two bolts that hold the starter on. Using a 10 millimeter for these two are 10s. They're just two different sockets. For the 6 bolts that hold on the plastic skid, well, it's not really a skid plate, but the plastic piece that like airfoil or whatever it is that goes underneath the car. Okay, and then I'm using another one here, which I believe is a 12 millimeter. This is the nut that goes on the cable from the battery. Okay, so 12, 10, and 13 on the sockets is what you're going to need to get this job done. Hopefully you don't have to tap one side like me. You don't have to go through what I did. As far as the starter itself, I had to get it from Advance. I went to Pep Boys. AutoZone had the best price. Had to be reordered. They had it at $239, and it looked like a generic brand. Didn't look like the correct brand. This one came from CarQuest. I believe I showed it to you, and it looked exactly like the one I pulled out. So that's kind of why I went for it. It was definitely much more expensive. They $295, $294, $95, $99, plus a $30 core charge. So when I gave them my core, they took the $30 core charge they added to the price and gave it to me for $312 and change with tax, which I thought was rather expensive. I started looking around online, and sure enough, they're the only one that had it. Everything else was pretty much generic, and I wasn't sure I could trust it. So when I went to AutoZone, I asked the gentleman, I said, what kind of warranty on here? He said, oh, it should be lifetime. I said, well, it says we manufactured on there. He said, if it's CarQuest, it's lifetime warranty on the starter. And that's a good deal. I'll take that any day of the week. So I overpaid for it, but the warranty's there. Okay, let's get installed. Okay, you guys, it's a little bit tricky, so I apologize for the trickiness, alright? Starter is in place. Got the 2 bolts in. I got the power. There's a boot on there, but I got the power thing on there. That was 13 millimeter, not 12. The 2 bolts that hold the starter in place, 13 millimeter. This was an extra connector I didn't see out. I guess it goes to the oil sensor. There's the big one back in there. Last thing I got to do is find out where this goes. I think it goes here somewhere, so I gotta find the bolt for that. And this little guy here pops in probably this spot right here, something like that. Okay, so we're gonna go test it out after I get that last bracket in. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was gonna be. The really annoying part was the missing threads. After that, it just takes patience. And I have vertigo, so I can get sick being upside down, which is what I am right now. So thank God the Lord was nice to me today, did not let me get sick. I believe I gave you guys the best illustration I could with my iPhone, quick and dirty. So I apologize about anything else. Now it's time to go up top and see if we get lucky. Okay, we got the bracket mounted in the correct spot. See it mounted, and you see the cable attached to the bracket there underneath the red label. Okay, and that's where the bracket goes. So that other hole was the wrong spot. That's where she goes. 10mm for that bolt. That bolt's a little bit shorter than the other ones that hold the plastic in place. Okay, these are the ones that actually hold the plastic in place in there. It's a little bit longer. Excuse me. Okay, now we can go up top, test everything, since everything is clean down here. Okay, there's the second clip there. There's the first one in place, and there's the second one right there. So I forgot to show you that. I only showed you the first one in place. So the second one there. Now everything is clean. Please don't forget to remove the negative battery terminal before you start anything, and then put it back before you do your test. Okay, you guys, am I nervous? Oh yeah. Everything looks pretty clean on the bottom, as I showed you. I took my time to get everything back the way it belongs, all the connections and everything. So hopefully I don't get no error codes. Again, disconnect the negative battery lead before you even start. Okay, let's see, get that key in there. There it is. Oh shoot, what happened now? I'm getting the same signal with a brand new starter. This is not good. This is not good, which means there's something else. And before I started, I checked the voltage on the car. I checked I checked the relay, make sure it worked and went on, and they could feel it click. So I don't understand. I think I'm really big trouble right about now. Okay, you guys, rather embarrassing, the outcome here. Thinking to myself, okay, call the wife, come out here and test the voltage going to the starter itself. Came out to be less than 12 volts. In the meantime, before I did that, I cleaned the cable, the power supply that goes actually to the starter, the heavy one. Cleaned the connector on that because it looked kind of funky. I'm thinking that was it, and then no, I still getting the click, and I'm like, okay, this ain't good. Thinking to myself, boy, am I gonna take the starter off, bring it back, and it'll be even more embarrassing. They tell me there's nothing wrong with the starter, and I'm like, oh boy. Finally, the wife comes, helps me, and says, Vic, boost the car, jump the car. So we get the pickup truck, we put the cables on. Car starts. Was getting 11.6, and I'm kind of shocked that 11.6 won't crank it over. This is a small car, small motor, and the starter's pretty heavy. She weighs about 10 pounds. She got a lot of windings in there. She's pretty starter. I know the previous starter was bad because when I took it to Pep Boys, for some reason I said to the guy, can you test it for me? And he did. He said to test a bad solenoid.
And then when I asked the guy in Advanced Auto, the only one who was actually able to get me the starter, he says that the core, the old thing that he couldn't get me the solenoid, that it wasn't available. And I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe I'll look up the price and see if I go back, pay that $30 today, get my starter back, and rebuild it. But this one does come with a lifetime warranty on it, so that's good. Happy to see that. Getting hungry now. I'm very glad, happy everything worked out. And it wound up being my own basic stupidity, amateurish mistake, that I didn't have enough volts or power in the battery to actually crank over the starter. So my fault. Everything's working lovely. Later on, I'll put on the plastic airfoil, the cover for the bottom. Won't wait for a couple of days. I'm just getting a little vertigo, so I won't do it today. So I'm very happy to see that I can take the cables off now from the pickup truck and see if you start again, see if I have enough power to the battery. Alright, thanks a lot, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this helps others out, and we are good to go. Till the next one. Bye.